Great practical joke, Jim. Got me go to the annex. No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Good morning, afternoon, and evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Game 2 of the Bomber season, and it begins again with another victory. I'm not going to be honest with you. I didn't think we were winning this week after a subpar performance last week, as well as just not really many indicators that we really had gotten going. I wasn't convinced. So I actually took in our weekly reviews and previews. Make sure to check those out on CFL Central. Like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already to both of these channels. But I had actually taken the Redblacks in this game because they had the indicators that it seemed like they were going to get going. However, Jackson Jeffcoat comes back into the lineup today, and not only does he have an impact, but it feels like just his presence has an impact, as the defense overall showed up a lot better. Now, it wasn't perfect. There were definitely mistakes here and there, but this was a lot more reminiscent of last year than last game was, where last game there was no resemblance whatsoever of the defense we had established. So the defense showed up, or Schoened up, as I said, as Dalton Schoened got his first touchdown as a Bomber, my boy. So, very happy. And yeah, let's get into this game. So like I said, Jackson Jeffcoat is back in the lineup. That shakes up this defense quite a bit. And the D-line looked good tonight. I was very pleased. But we did come off to a little bit of a mediocre start. Went back and forth a bit. Ottawa would then get a field goal, make this game 3-0. There would then be a bad punt and good field position for the Bombers. So, hey, I'll take it, you know. But that's kind of something, we got a little bit lucky there. And at this point, it looked like the Ottawa offense was starting to roll. They would then be forced to make a field goal. They would miss it, though, but there would be a big return by Jerry and Grant.
Good. There you go. There you go. There we go. What's that, 34 yards? Awesome.
Once again, another fantastic return from Grant. He never disappoints in that aspect. Kind of just like a not as good version of Lucky Whitehead in that sense. Very similar style, and I've been very pleased with him as our returner. There would then be a big catch by Schoened, his first of the game, but a holding penalty would make it meaningless. So, only thing with the offensive line today that I was a little bit disappointed with is we took too many penalties. Jeff Gray a little bit he took at least 3 of them. So not a bad player, just got to be more disciplined. But it happens. But anyways, we would continue first quarter. Offense though, it finally seemed like we were starting to make progress right at the end of that first quarter. So we would go into the second quarter. There'd be a rouge. Game would be 3-1 Redblacks. But then the Redblacks, Jeremiah Mazzoli, once again, kind of showing that remnants of last game, would have a massive throw to Darvin Adams.
No. Oh.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's one of those things where you really hope your DBs to catch up on that and pick those off. However, they're going to get some of them, not all of them. I really want to see more interceptions. That's why I want to see us picking more of these off. However, it's good that we're at least starting to shut down some of it, as opposed to last game where seemingly everything was getting past us. Ottawa would continue on that drive, though, get a field goal, 6-1 Redblacks. Thing is that at this point, though, the Bombers started getting a little bit more ambitious. There would be a great catch by Wolotarski. However, this is something that me and my dad both noticed, is I don't know if Calera should have thrown that. I mean, there were 3 defenders on Wolotarski, and I'm glad he got it. However, the risk to having an interception there was very high. And if you want to know how high it was, we would try that very same play, the next play, and interception. And this is what happens when you keep trying to throw into too many defenders. You know, eventually it burns you. So it's one of those things where really just have to be careful with those. So a little bit of questionable judgment by Caleros, but it happens. At this moment, actually, we got, there was technical difficulties with TSN. They lost the broadcast there. I know there was rain over in Ottawa at the game. So for about 2 or 3 minutes, we actually weren't able to see the game, and we're just listening to Milt Stegall and others talk, which I have no problem doing. I love me some Milt Stegall. However, really was wishing for the game, but turns out we really didn't miss much. However, we come back, and Caleros immediately throws an interception. We got lucky here, though, as we would get saved by the offside. Ottawa would get a field goal, make this game 9-1 Redblacks. But then, just then and there, our defense would then pull up big in this next drive by the Redblacks after we had a failed drive beforehand, with Wilson getting a sack.
Oh, take him! There you go!
Yeah, so very pleased with that. You know, defense was really starting to pick up a little bit of steam here. Ottawa would have a nice pass here. However, this was a smart play by O'Shea. So this catch comes in right in front of the bomber, in front of the Bombers on the sideline. O'Shea is right there. O'Shea notices that ball actually hits off the turf before he clamps down on it, meaning that's an incomplete pass. So we would challenge it, and it would succeed. Like I said, I was looking through here. I just wrote down, replay shows O'Shea is right, should be overturned, and it was. And this is where I really started to notice the D-line really starting to put a lot more good pressure on Mazzoli and breaking through that Ottawa offensive line, who played pretty well last week, did very well at keeping the Bomber defensive line contained and keeping them out of the pocket. However, we really were starting to kind of pick through there, and I was very pleased with that. You know, but then we get back on offense, we drive down the field, and then Greg Ellingson with the touchdown.
Yes! There we go! Ellingson. Yes!
I just noticed my tongue probably looks blue. Just a Slurpee. I just noticed it. Anyways, but at this point, we went for the it was, 9-7 at this point. Went for the 2-point conversion. Good. Go for it, because there's no point going for 1. Go for 2. Try to get that tie game. Good attempt, however, would still remain 9-7 as we failed that 2-point convert. Going into the third quarter, at this point, I'm like, let's get a lead. I want to start off strong, and I was pleased at the start. We got field goal, got up 10-9, so it was good to have that. It would go back and forth a little bit here, but then there would be a near touchdown. Ellingson can't quite bring it down. Now, this is one where Caleros probably should have thrown that a little lower there. It was a bit difficult for Ellingson. However, if you're a receiver and you can get both hands on it, you should have it. Ellingson was not able to get it. I wasn't really disappointed in him, though, because Ellingson has played so well for us that you can't receivers aren't going to catch every ball. So it happens. Hoped he would have gotten it, but he didn't, so is what it is. But we would get a field goal here and extend our lead to 13-9 Bombers. Ottawa would then start pressuring a bit more, looking for response, you know what I mean? Trying to put the pressure on offense, drive us back into our side of the field. However, the Bombers would hold them to a field goal at least, making this game a little bit closer to 13-12. And this is where, and then I wrote close game, not amazing, but this is much less sloppy than the Alouettes Argonauts game that happened last night, as well as our last game at IGF, the home opener. So I was at least pleased to see us starting to mesh together a bit. This is kind of what I was expecting. I was kind of expecting the Bombers to have a bit of a slow start, but overall get going a bit. Fourth quarter action. Redblacks offense really starting to push. DB struggling to adjust. This is the point where I really start to get worried about this Redblacks offense, because I'm starting to see glimpses and flashes of last game where we were starting to get beat a bit. Even if it was situations where they weren't even throwing to these receivers, I could see sometimes our DBs were already beat before the ball leaves Mazzoli's hands. So it's one of those things where really just got to lock down and play closer. Winston Rose had a better game, but I still think there's more to go, and I just hope that continues and he gets back to it. But is what it is. 3rd and inches in the red zone, and Ottawa would fumble. They would recover their own fumble, but it's on 3rd and inches. So, Bomber ball. Turnover on downs, and we would get to go. 35-yard throw to Ellingson. Ellingson, once again, this game has proven that he is a great replacement for Kenny Lawler, being able to bring in a guy much cheaper on the contract, arguably doing just as much. And Lawler still hasn't done much in Edmonton. We'll see if he does stuff this week, but it's looking like a very good move for the Bombers, both cutting their distance on the cap and being able to still have that high-level receiving talent that they desperately need. Augustine goes in, and finally the running game starts to get traction. And I don't think this is really a fault of Brady Oliveira, and I was surprised to see the way that Augustine was running up the middle a bit. However, I'm starting to see a bit more of O'Shea's preference to that. And it's not that he's not able to tank through, but it's that if you can open that hole wide enough, once Augustine gets through, he's got the speed to move around guys and get those extra few yards. So it's one of those things where it's a bit more difficult to have those plays come to fruition. But if you can get him there, he's in a better chance to then make moves and get that extra 2, extra 3, extra 4, extra 5 sometimes even. So was pretty pleased with that. But then Dalton Schoened would get a touchdown, his first as a Bomber.
Yes! Yes! I wanted to wait an extra second just to make sure he had it. And is that shown? He's got his first. Yes!
Attaboy, attaboy. I'm always pleased to see us get a touchdown, even more when it's a guy's first. Gotta congratulate him on that. You know, excellent catch there. And it's so good to see a guy come from the preseason, you know, battling and prove himself to make the main roster. And now that he's on the main roster, he's then actually starting to make a difference on that roster. So very happy to see it. Wasn't expecting it, but, you know, sometimes unexpected surprises are some of the best. All surprises are unexpected. Why the hell did I say that? That's stupid. We would then miss the convert. That's even more stupid. Because the Bombers can't have nice things when it comes to kicking. That's what I wrote. 19-12 Winnipeg. So that would mean that if Ottawa gets a touchdown, they would only have to go for 1 instead of 2. I was a bit disappointed about that because it's just a convert. Give me point. High school kickers can do it. Don't need to explain this anymore. Ottawa marches the field, but turnover on downs in the red zone again. So Bombers defense coming in fourth quarter clutch as it needs to. Like I said, it wasn't perfect, but it was a massive improvement off of last game. Bombers would then punt it. However, roughing the kicker penalty for the Redblacks, so would go from third down all the way down back to first. Bombers could then kneel it out and get the victory. 19-12 victory over the Redblacks. So overall, solid game. Like this was by no means the best game we have played, or even this is nowhere near our ceiling. We still got lots more we got to improve on, especially on offense for the most part, because defense really made a bit of a big jump toward, as opposed to last game. However, the offense kind of stayed the same a little bit. I was happy with a much less sloppy game on our part. It looked like we actually had a bit more of an idea of what we were doing. We need a little bit more discipline on that offensive line. Although overall was not very disappointed in general. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope Dalton Schoened continues doing what he has. Greg Ellingson as well. I want to see Rasheed Bailey and Nick Dembski more on that scorecard. But it is what it is. Bombers win. Till next time, I'll see you guys later. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Comment down below your thoughts in this game. And bye-bye.